Welcome to our election focus. With so many races and so many candidates jockeying for position in the upcoming primary, we weren't able to get the in-depth conversation that we had during the Annapolis city election. So this time, we're shaking it up a little bit. We identified key challenged races and invited all of the candidates to pitch us. In each 10-minute recording, we present a single question to the candidate. I am a new voter. Why should I vote for you? And after that, the candidate has up to 10 minutes to pitch themselves, and if they run out of time, we hang up on them. It's very simple and mildly therapeutic. Joining us today is Jim Fredericks. He is a Republican, and he is running for sheriff of Anne Arundel County. Why would I want to vote for you?
Well, first, thanks, John. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. As for my candidacy, I'm running for sheriff to Anne Arundel County. And put in place modern law enforcement practices that I think need to be addressed for public safety in the sheriff's office. I'm a current active commander in the county police department, which is a little unique than other candidates, and I have 26 years of experience, and mostly is primarily in supervision, management, and administration. I've been in supervision or management department. My command experiences include Homeland Security and Intelligence. We've done corruption investigations. I was the Director of Emergency Preparedness for the county. I've done task force operations. I've run personnel. I've done budgeting, purchase. I've run technology and media relations like Public Information Office. So, I've got a huge background of management and administration in law enforcement. I've managed millions of dollars in law enforcement budgets. And I'm also the former executive officer of the Eastern District Police Station, which, for comparison, is roughly the size of the current sheriff's office, and that's only one police district. The sheriff's office is about 1/10 of the size of the police department. I find it helps to educate people a little bit about law enforcement structure in our county because the county sheriff's office and the county police department serve two very different functions in our communities. The police department is charged with responding to citizen calls for service, investigating all crimes in the county, and managing critical law enforcement incidents. Common misconception in public safety or in the public is that the sheriff's office routinely conducts criminal investigations in the county, which is just incorrect. But actually, the sheriff's office has no criminal investigations unit, but deputies in the sheriff's office have an incredible amount of constitutional authority, and they are critical to the public safety mission in the county. The sheriff's office is charged with a multitude of duties, such as serving civil notices like evictions and public sales, or court documents like domestic violence protective orders and child support orders. But the two biggest functions of the office, I believe, are securing and protecting the circuit court building in Annapolis down at Church Circle, and housing and serving all the warrants in the county. And this is where I believe my background and experience put me above the other candidates. As a modern, active law enforcement leader, I'll definitely institute best practices in the areas of, operations, program management, and homeland security, but not for the sake of change, but to make the work environment safer there for deputies and to make the citizens safer. The two significant issues I believe that are facing the sheriff's office are, right now, there are more than 11,000 unserved warrants in the county, and the circuit court security is not really up to what we would consider post 9/11 standards. As the sheriff, they'll definitely be my top priorities in my administration. And I've managed programs, in the police department already utilized in Maryland and throughout the country that I think will really be great to stem the tide of the increasing number of warrants that we have in the county, but also to make the courthouse a safer place for citizens. Some of those programs include use of current technologies to track and locate criminals who are wanted subjects, people with warrants, and then the integration of modern strategic planning models that we use already in law enforcement to bring new technologies into the sheriff's office. And that's some of those things include social media monitoring and things like that. But these are things that won't cost the taxpayers millions of dollars to replace all these technologies at once. I've established and continue to maintain great working relationships with our state, local, and federal partners in law enforcement, Department of Corrections, and parole and probation. And those relationships are important for helping to track and maintain, presence with current wanted offenders to help us find them. And I'll definitely institute what we use in the police department as, basically intelligence-led policing strategies, and that's gathering and sharing information, integrating modern technology and practices, and that's basically all geared toward that warrant reduction program. With regards to needed court security enhancements, I'll definitely make immediate top to bottom audits of the strengths and weaknesses of the security procedures there at the circuit court building. And that has to be done really so you can set priorities for spending and enhancements. But that's for the purpose of protecting citizens and employees at the courthouse. Many people don't realize all the important but everyday things that go on at the circuit court. If you need a marriage license, you're buying a house, you have a jury trial, if you're going to see the state's attorney, or you're involved with any court, serious criminal cases or juvenile cases, then you have to go to the circuit court building. There are thousands of people each week traveling in and out of the building, and it's up to the sheriff to ensure that the best practices are being utilized to make that a safe environment.
5 minutes.
Thank you. Some other recent issues are some financial and fiscal audits that were conducted by the county that uncovered significant management deficiencies in the sheriff's office. And those were regarding record keeping, like recovery of fees, federal grant billing, and that was for a child support enforcement grant. Those findings to me were unacceptable, and I'll make sure we use some modern program management practices, definitely to eliminate those deficiencies. I think that's an easy issue to solve. On a personal side, I'm a family man. I've lived, worked, and raised a family in Anne Arundel County. As a lifelong citizen of the county, I'm a husband of 30 years, a father to 3 adult kids. I've been a high school cross-country coach at Southern High School for years. I'm not doing that anymore. As an active community member, my church, I've done Appalachian Service Project and several other local things. And then I'm currently a county law enforcement lieutenant, but I'm fully dedicated to making Anne Arundel County a safer place to live and work, definitely. As I speak to people around the county about the sheriff's race, I'm asked if it makes a difference whether or not the sheriff is a Democrat or Republican. What I tell them is in the daily course of business for the sheriff's office, it doesn't matter as much. But it matters a great deal when it comes to the sheriff testifying for or against bills in the Maryland legislature. I already have experience testifying both at the county council and before committees in the General Assembly. This is a primary election, and I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican who supports the Second Amendment and the ability for law-abiding Marylanders to carry firearms. I strongly support the 287G immigration plan at the detention center, and that's to screen inmates for immigration status. I will definitely oppose any attempts by lawmakers to turn Maryland into a sanctuary state. And I've spent, as my time in Homeland Security, spent a significant amount of my time learning, understanding, and investigating, how groups like MS-13 affect our schools and our communities. And I will definitely fight any efforts to weaken the ability of law enforcement to protect our citizens. I believe in term limits for public officials, and I'm fully behind Governor Hogan's efforts to bring some more accountability back to public officials. I think you have to be accountable. I believe citizens are tired of politics as usual in Maryland and in this county. I hold myself personally accountable for actions, and definitely hold myself to a higher standard in both my professional and personal lives. I'll definitely make sure there's clear guidance in the sheriff's office. No scandals, no excuses, just open, responsible, results-driven leadership. Since I'm running in the Republican primary, I like to address my fellow Republicans a little bit and tell them I'm the only lifelong Anne Arundel County Republican running for sheriff in the June 26th primary election. I've never switched parties, and I think that matters because I've never doubted, my values, nor have I changed them for the sake of politics. In my opinion, the other candidate options on the ballot don't have the right training, experience, or knowledge to really transform the sheriff's office into a modern agency. One option is a sheriff looking for a fourth elected term who hasn't been able to solve the problems there in the last that are lingering for 12 years. You have another candidate who got out of law enforcement in 2001, and their base of knowledge really predates the 9/11 terror attacks. I don't think you can modernize with that base of knowledge. And then your last candidate only joined the race at the deadline in February as a retired federal officer who I really think would have to spend their entire term figuring out, how how that office functions both operationally and administratively, while you try to develop relationships. I think the challenges there in the sheriff's office, need to be addressed day one. I believe that my wealth of experience in the administration and operational components of law enforcement agency make me uniquely more qualified to handle some of the complex issues within the sheriff's office and to take that office to the next level regarding management accountability. In September 2016, I was the first challenger to announce their candidacy in this race, and I've been campaigning ever since.
1 minute.
Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, and that's why I believe we need change, a new vision, and a fresh set of eyes in the sheriff's office. If you're a voter looking for a sheriff who's honest and accountable, a sheriff who's modern, an active law enforcement leader with exceptional management experience, I believe that I'm the candidate for you. If people want to, they can contact me through Facebook. They can check me out on Instagram, or go to the website if they have any more questions. But I'm Jim Fredericks. I'm a Republican running for Anne Arundel County Sheriff. I'm asking for the privilege of receiving your support in your vote on June 26th, and thank you.
For more information on Jim Fredericks, please visit his website, jimfredericksforsheriff.com, and that is JimFredericksforSheriff.com.